Thank you. Hello everyone. I'm Tanya. I'm the team lead of the LawCate program, and joining with me today are Laura and Monette. Along with me, James, who's the engagement officer, Alicia, who's the marketing officer, and Bhavna, who's the event officer. On behalf of the entire LawCate team, I would like to welcome you all in today's seminar. Now we'll proceed towards the acknowledgement of the country. So before we start, from Monash and Rocket team, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which whom are living. I pay my respect to past, present, and elders, and extend my respect to any Aboriginal or Indigenous people joining us today. Sovereignty was never ceded. This always was and always be an Aboriginal land. Thank you all for joining us today. I'll now hand over to James.
Thank you, Tanya. Hello, guys. My name is James, and I'm the engagement officer. Oops. I'm the engagement officer for LawCate this year. And I'll just be running through a couple of housekeeping stuff before we dive right into it. First of all, tonight's session is being recorded, and it may be clipped for our marketing usage for LawCate in the future. And also, if you have any questions in mind, feel free to pop them in the chat and we'll try to accommodate as many questions as we can by the end. As you can see here on the agenda today, we'll be going through different topics such as going through the career pathways and the life and how to stand out in your roles and have a Q&A session based on the questions that you have submitted. And we'll be closing with a couple of final remarks. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Please, Laura and Monette, can you guys please give us a short introduction as to what you do, what your experiences were like as a student and starting out in your career, and a fun fact about yourself.
Sure, I'll begin.
Go
So
ahead.
yeah, my name's Laura. I'm a lawyer at FCW Lawyers. I practice in the dispute resolution and insolvency team. So pretty much what I specialize in is bankruptcy and insolvency. I also do a little bit of commercial litigation and property litigation. I went to ACU, Australian Catholic University. I did a double degree there, Bachelor of Laws and Commerce, and majored in human resource management. And a fun fact about myself would be is that I love to cook. I'm Italian, so I love to make different things, pasta, pizzas, etc. So
All your
If
fun
there's
facts
oh
about country.
yeah,
if there's a favorite dish that you have, what would it be?
pasta marinara, so seafood pasta. It's the best. But yeah, and I also know every country of the world, all 196 of them. I can, yeah, I'm still learning capitals of the world, so
That's
I'm getting there.
amazing. My fun facts are not as impressive as Laura's, but I'm Monette. I am one of the lawyers at FCW in the workplace relations team. I have only been a lawyer for 1 year, but my little fun fact is that I am also a pharmacist. So I practiced as a pharmacist for about 13 years and was in the pharmacy industry for 20 years. So yeah, very new to the profession.
Thank you. We'll get right into it. Career pathways. I guess you guys both kind of touched upon this a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, so looking back, what's something that, we'll talk about the transition from being a law student to a lawyer, and to that end, what's something that you've wish you've done in your first or second year that would have benefited your job prospects as you finish a degree?
I would say perhaps I wish going back that maybe I would have found a role at a law firm a little earlier on. I didn't find a role until my second last year of university. So I'd say just to gain, further experience, perhaps, tried looking for, just I guess any type of role at a law firm, whether it's an admin role, legal assistant role, paralegal role, just to get, foot in the door and make a start into the legal profession.
And I can see how that has been an advantage to Laura and some of the other lawyers we've got in the firm that started off early in their career, because they know so much more about the systems and within their team. Whereas I worked full time right throughout part-time study. So I didn't have the opportunity to work in a law firm quite early. So when I actually started, I started to learn everything from scratch, systems, what certain documents were. And if it wasn't for PLT, I would have not known how to draft certain documents. So yeah, if you've got the ability to and the means to, I would
Yeah.
say starting off early in a firm in any capacity would be
Would be
beneficial.
better. Yeah, would be good. Yeah.
Just on that vein, I suppose, if someone doesn't necessarily have any experience in the legal field, is there any recommendations that you would give or any tips that you would give and for people that may be struggling with finding that first paralegal job or even, juggling work and studies at the same time?
Well, I feel that one definitely applies to me because I did not have that ability to work in that sort of capacity. For me, it was probably gaining more of that knowledge when I first started, and I really was, I don't want to say annoying, but I used to like really pick at people and their knowledge because I really wanted to know it like all sort of really early on, which is not possible, but I was just so keen to know it because I just wanted to be practical and actually be functional rather than having, it was just like
Yeah.
a confidence thing. I
Yeah.
needed it as a confidence boost. So yeah, I used to ask a lot of questions. And really, I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Well,
it's just speaking with other lawyers,
yeah.
how they do things.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And even like with me, I didn't really have any prior legal experience before being employed here. So I just did my pro bono experience essentially at a small boutique firm in Sunshine and got to do just my 75 hours that was compulsory as a part of the degree. And then from that, I think that helped with getting the role, but I wouldn't necessarily say that, it was like a job like in that sense where I had that prior, experience in that sense. But yeah, I'd say as a tip, yeah, just a lot of universities they have like legal career pathways that post out
Yeah.
different job opportunities, different experiences, I guess, in the legal industry. So take a look out for those, try applying for those as a start. And then, once you want to land a role, perhaps at a law firm, it'd be good to have that experience sort of there on your resume.
And that reminds me, because
Yeah.
I studied at La Trobe Uni,
Mhm.
and we did get those emails periodically from our like legal careers sort of department,
Mhm.
or even like the head of the subject that we were studying. And usually you would see it sort of say, one day a week at this law firm, you can be an admin person or a paralegal, etc.
Yeah.
And so even if it's that, just accepting that for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it might just be a really short amount of time. That's going to be like, it's not going to be too strenuous on you, your study commitments or
Mhm.
family commitment.
Yeah.
But you might find it like a nice sort of introduction
Yeah.
of
Into
what
the
you might
profession.
actually, be
Yeah.
signing up for.
Thank you, guys. And from continuing on from that, when you guys graduated and you guys landed that first, role after graduation, what's something that you feel like were the biggest factors in helping you land that first role out of uni?
Well, with me, because when I first started at this firm, I was an admin assistant. And the firm was obviously aware that I was a law student and after I had graduated from university, they offered me a graduate position, and I felt like that was a great thing, like a great start. I was very fortunate to have that happen. But yeah, I just say, try once you've secured a position like in a firm,
Mm.
try your very best, even if you're not in a like a paralegal role, legal assistant role. Let's just say you're in an admin role like I was. Try and, offer help to lawyers, try and, get some experience from them, try speaking to them and building those connections with the lawyers. I think that helps a lot
Yeah, like
in that
consider any
recognition.
time you spend in a workplace or a potential workplace. So if you're doing a placement, consider that to be an extended interview. So, you may fit in like culturally, and they might actually quite like you in that regard and think, okay, that's fine. We know they're studying. We can start to, I don't know if I want to say these sort of things, but like shape them or mold them into the sort of
Yeah.
professional that would sort of integrate with our
the firm's
So
values and
yeah,
the firm as a
exactly.
whole.
So
Yeah.
yeah, just always remember those sort of experiences are an extended interview. For me, I got the role by networking, so that was quite good. And yeah, so whatever opportunity you get in that regard, sort of take it on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my step into
Into the law
from
firm.
pharmacy into law.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's widen the scope of the question, I suppose. And, a lot of students when they're starting out, and especially, and I know it's the case for me, is, when I was doing my bachelor's, I did it in a very different field to the law. So I wasn't very familiar with what kind of practice areas there are in Australia. So could you guys give us a just an overall overview of what to expect and what kind of areas that you are aware of or your colleagues went into?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously there are so many different practice areas out there, and I guess university is a good, I guess it's a good start to getting to know all the different types of areas of law and understanding the foundations and the context surrounding those. In terms of like choosing a practice area, I guess when you're at university, you tend to like figure out what subjects you like versus the ones that you don't like. So, I guess trying to find a practice area that suits the ones that you do like is a good start in establishing, I guess, like once you're in the position to find a role at a law firm, you'd want to find a firm that specializes in what you enjoy. With me, it was actually funny because I got sort of put into my team. Like I didn't choose bankruptcy and insolvency. It sort of chose me. So sometimes, you might start off at a firm and then start working with the team and then, just picking it up and enjoying it and deciding that you wanted to stay in that team. I never thought I would have wanted to do bankruptcy and insolvency. Like even myself, like I don't like math at all. So like even with numbers and dealing with all of that and dealing with accountants and liquidators and it's just like, yeah, it was just I didn't think that I would get into that and here I am today. So yeah, I think it all just comes with, experience and,
Yeah.
law firms and
And that's
stuff.
the thing, like, I mean, there are like Laura has just said, there are so many different areas in law, and particularly within that, you get the niche areas. So
Yeah.
if you can become as specialized as possible, then that's ideal.
Yeah.
For me, for example, coming from a medical background, I did not consider going into employment law. Like that was just such different ends of the spectrum. But you would start to see some of your skills are quite transferable. So in my like experience in the employment team, for example, I'll write a lot of contracts. Now, if you ask me at uni if I wanted to do contract law, I would like you would see it in my face. I dislike that subject so much. So you can't really say, I don't like contract law, I don't want to do that kind of law.
Yeah.
I think people that enjoy criminal law and then they, for example, know that that is the path they want to pursue,
Mhm.
that's the one I tend to find there's like that real strong correlation between
Yeah.
uni subjects and actually what they want to do.
Yeah.
But and also it depends on if you actually get a job, really. You sort of just take what you can because it's very
Yeah.
hard to get a
Yeah.
job.
To land one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
100%.
yeah. So don't just be like, oh, I don't like that area of law. I don't want to accept it. You might
Yeah.
actually find, like I have, working in employment and safety law.
Yeah.
And for example, with that, you get a lot of psychosocial hazards. So there's that link for me to
Mhm.
medicine.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
just keep a really broad
Yeah. And
mind.
not only that too, but a lot of firms do rotations. So once you've got a
Mhm.
role, and just say you're a grad or, a paralegal, sometimes they like to rotate the employee to various teams, and then you can sort of get the idea of what you like through
Yeah.
there as well. So that's always great too.
Do you guys reckon, in terms of when it comes to, because a lot of our audience has overseas experience or
Right.
are building overseas experience, where do you reckon that comes into play when it comes to choosing which areas to focus on in their careers in Australia?
I mean, it depends on what sort of specialty they had overseas, to be honest. Some of like obviously like they know the core like elements and like, their speciality overseas. really the part that, and that's transferable, but they would have to apply that to Australian law. So
Yeah.
like that we know,
Yeah.
but they have so much background knowledge in these particular areas that they're such assets to your team. And I find that no matter which profession I've worked in, people that do come from overseas, they offer a different skill set.
Yeah,
Or like
that's true.
because they've had like
Yeah.
different exposure.
Different experience, different
Yeah.
exposure.
So I find
Definitely.
that they're quite, helpful.
Yeah, like
And they might even come from like a higher, like they might be a lot more experienced. They might be, associates, senior associates, or like they
Yeah.
might be even like, a senior associate with a lot of years of experience.
Yeah.
But then they'll come here and then do
studies.
like
Yeah.
more
Yeah, more
studies,
studies, yeah, and become
and
a
then
lawyer.
they'll
Yeah.
become lawyers.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think those
I think that's
sort of
great.
they're
It's
amazing.
fantastic. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very. That was really good. Well said.
Thank you guys. So I guess to boil this topic down, because a lot of the questions that we got was asking about, in school, should they focus on finding what they want to do in uni and really focusing on that, or trying to keep an open mind, and see what their experiences take them, both in the university and if they are able to find work while they're working. So
Mhm.
between the two approaches, which one would you say speaks more to you?
Open mind.
Yeah, I'd say open mind.
Yeah.
Keep an open mind. Some people know what they want to do. They're just like, yeah,
Yeah.
I want to do commercial. I want to do property law. You know what I mean? But yeah, keep an open mind. Let experience, sort of guide you along the way and until you've landed that role. But yeah, that's what I'd say. Yeah.
For
Agree.
sure. All right, let's move into the day in the life of a lawyer. Before we ask any specific questions, can you guys just describe what a typical day would look like as a lawyer?
Yeah, so when you open your inbox, there's a lot of emails in there.
Yeah. Sometimes hundreds.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you'll spend some time. I mean, you'll know what work would be urgent and what wouldn't. So you start to sort of sift through that, and you start to triage your work, and you make sure that whatever you're attending to first is what is most urgent, which really, like in our firm, we really do like to get things out to clients really quickly.
Yeah.
If it's not that day, the next day.
Yeah.
So yeah, just working through different like tasks in terms of it might be submitting documents to court. The way we submit things to court are really different.
Yeah.
But we would have those sort of deadlines. For example, we might be running an investigation into like an employee's conduct in the workplace, which is obviously not ideal. So you'd be writing to those sort of employees, any witnesses that they may have, speaking with other lawyers and other firms, and you might be making offers to settle things that are starting to get really expensive for clients. So yeah, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails,
A lot of coffee.
Yeah, I haven't yet started
coffee
drinking
trips.
coffee, but yeah, a lot
Just
of
to stay
that.
on top of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely triaging your work because it just keeps coming through every day.
Yeah, make sure that organized, keep diarising things, make sure that you've entered your diary entries into your calendar, especially when court deadlines are coming up. You want to make sure that they're done on time.
Yeah, and always just have like repeating deadline. I've always got some
reminders.
like going off.
You definitely need reminders.
Yeah,
Because when you've got so many matters, sort of
exactly.
you've got to make sure that you're on top of everything and don't miss anything at the last minute.
Some of the, deadlines are a little bit more lenient, but you do not do that for the court system. You'll be in a lot of trouble with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also then just like towards the end of the day, really touching base with all the tasks that you are meant to do. And one other thing I've noticed is like you're going to be like carrying that file as much as you can. Particularly because in our team, like it's a small firm, so you're working very close with a principal, and you're going to have to sort of keep an eye on like everything that's coming through.
Yeah.
actioning it. Like you don't
File
want to just be
management,
like told like, okay, do
do
this,
this, do
go
that.
do that.
Yeah,
So you really need to sort of be across the
across it.
matter well,
Yeah,
know what the steps are,
yeah,
like the process, and just sort of get that information to your lawyer because they'll have to review everything before it goes out. And if it doesn't happen quickly, you just keep reminding them like, hey, I need to get this out at this time. So
yeah.
there's a bit of like management of like your team as well.
That sounds like a packed day.
That's a good
Yeah,
day.
it keeps us.
Yeah.
If you're working until 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, that's a great day.
Yeah,
There have been times I've worked till like midnight, and I'm sure
yeah,
there's definitely other people in this
out there.
room, Tanya included,
Yeah, yeah,
where you work a lot
a
later
lot.
than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when it, from I guess from the perspective of a student that hasn't done this sort of work before, I guess a common feeling might be a little bit of nervousness or thinking, or I'm not sure if I have enough experience to actually do this. If and when I'm fortunate enough to find a job, what is transferable between university work and actually dealing with all of these things that you've listed in the day-to-day matters of your job? What would you say?
Yeah.
Would you say, um, how can students start building the skills that matter with when it comes to dealing with the daily activities of being a lawyer?
I think one of the things that you would start to work on now is your organization.
Yeah.
So find a system that, like, it might just be deadlines for assessments, obviously exams. Start to build a calendar and start to see what works for you. Like for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's a lot of color coding so that I know that, this color means a court date, this color means
Yeah.
like, a meeting with a client, or this one means like a meeting with a barrister.
Mm-hmm.
So start to get into the habit of that. Whether it's like on your Outlook calendar, there's different websites like Trello
Yeah.
or notes on your desktop.
Yeah. Yeah.
See if that helps.
Yeah. I tend to flag my emails. So
Yeah.
as tasks that need to be done. And once they're done, I just unflag them and then put them, know, they just stay in the inbox and I know
Yeah.
that it's done. But yeah,
So that kind of thing for
yeah,
sure.
keeping organized is definitely up there.
Yeah. And be practical with your writing. That is one thing you are absolutely going to
Need like
learn
learn
and
and you
sort of
need
be reminded of when
yeah,
it comes to your practical legal training. We did ours at Leo Cusson,
yeah.
and they will very quickly start to put a lot of red line through your excessive wording.
Yeah.
Making it, you got to make things like quite
Like short,
basic, short,
yeah,
sharp,
concise,
and
to the
yeah, to
point.
the point.
Don't go like
Don't waffle.
blabbering and waffling on and you know
Yeah.
what I mean? A lot of the time clients they're gonna read it and they're gonna be like,
Or
oh, what are they talking about? Like what are they saying?
like
And it's
I
just
paid you
yeah,
to
yeah.
apply for this.
Just give me the answer. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah.
So always basically on the first page of your like any assessment or letter that you would draft, you want the answer there. And you don't really want a document to go over like, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages. There will naturally be some that do,
Yeah.
but always try and have the point of your message
Yeah.
on the first page. So that might help you, I suppose, reconsider or like think about how you can write your assessments from now. I know the word counts are the
Oh
absolute,
yeah.
they're everyone's enemy.
Don't miss university word counts.
But in the workplace, if you
Mhm.
actually did that, your boss would very quickly send
Yeah.
it back to you and
They'll
say,
be like,
"Can you
cut it
shorten
down.
this?"
Cut
Yeah,
it down. Yeah.
and then send it back to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You'll
yeah,
see the difference at university to PLT,
yeah,
quite quickly
yeah.
once you're there. So yeah.
Just for our first year friends, I know, I guess it's in the name, but practical legal training, PLTs, just for
Mhm.
the people that might not be as familiar, can you guys just briefly describe what that is and why that's important?
Yeah, so PLT, practical legal training, is essentially a compulsory course that needs to be conducted to become a lawyer. You can do it either part-time, full-time. I think there's only
There's a
two.
blended as
There's
well.
blended courses where you can do in person, online, or just fully in person or
Yeah,
fully online.
yeah.
I think I did blended. I think did you
I
do
did
blended?
blended
Yeah.
too.
And there are essentially two organizations that you can choose from, College
Yeah.
of Law or Leo Cusson. As Monette said, we went to Leo Cusson and we were both, I'd say, very happy there.
Yeah,
It was really good.
it was really good.
So essentially, practical legal training, as it's in the name, it's all the practical side of the legal profession.
Yeah.
So they teach you a lot about how to draft certain documents, drafting letters, drafting court documents, file management. Um, we have like oral assessments where we have to, do mock sort of court
Yeah.
assignments
You'll
and
do like a
things like
mediation
that,
with someone.
mediations and things like that. So I feel like it was very different to university. University obviously is more context, the foundations of law, whereas PLT is very into the practical side
Yeah,
and getting
definitely.
things done.
And that's where you very like quickly start to learn about your writing technique and style.
Yeah.
They will start to amend it for you because obviously it's all graded. So if you start to write 5 pages worth, your mentor is going to very quickly say, don't do that,
Yeah.
because it'll affect your score.
Yeah.
But then what they also do, which is quite helpful, was they give you like a matter and you sort of continue on with that. It's not like here's a scenario, right?
Yeah.
This letter. You
It's like
sort of follow
continued
through.
process with that specific file. So it's kind of like it's an
It's a
actual
file
file
management, yeah.
that you'd get it at a law firm. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it was pretty good in that
Yeah.
sense to run it through to the end.
And then you get a couple of them. So you need to start, and the deadlines for certain things, they happen at different times.
Mhm.
So then you will start to think, okay, well, that one's due first. I need to prioritize that. And you just, start to manage your work.
Yeah.
So that's when your organization skills really need to flourish.
And there's also like little like specialization subjects that you can
Yeah.
choose.
Yeah.
I think they only offer about 6. I can't
There's
remember.
not many.
There's not many to choose from, but I guess whichever ones you prefer most, you just choose those and go
Yeah.
from there. But it was funny because I didn't know about PLT until probably my second last year of no, actually
Yeah.
my third year of uni. I was like, what? PLT is a thing.
And
Have
it's
have to do
expensive.
that?
So when we
Yeah.
found out how much it
Yeah.
was, we were like,
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
got to do it to get that degree, to get that certificate, I should say. But
yeah.
and then after PLT is done, to become admitted as an Australian legal practitioner, you also got to pass the fit and proper person test.
Mm.
So that's another separate thing as
Yeah,
well.
that's a process.
Yeah, that's a process too. So yeah,
Thank you, guys.
it's okay.
I guess we'll move on to something a little bit more relevant later on in your uni,
Mhm.
which is applying or standing out when you're applying for the different roles. And when it comes to clerkships and graduate roles, at least with clerkships, the clerkship application season is happening just around the corner.
Yeah.
And maybe to broaden out a little bit, when it comes to, the process that you guys went through when applying for clerkships and graduate roles.
Mhm.
Did you guys have any tips on what you would recommend for students that will be going through that process very, very soon?
Yeah. I know a lot of people apply for clerkship and internship roles at different firms. Please don't be deterred if you don't secure a position. There's always other ways to get into a law firm. I didn't do a clerkship or an internship. As I said, I started off as admin and then worked my way up that way. So even if you're, like I said, in the application process and don't get it, don't be discouraged. There's other ways. Try applying for other roles at law firms and yeah, look out for your, I guess, faculty job career posts and see if there's any opportunities there, or even reach out to the law faculty and see if there's anything that you could find. Yeah.
So, like Laura, I obviously didn't go through this path either. But when I was trying to transition from, medicine into law, I started just emailing different law firms. Like I literally just got like contacts and I start emailing them. I was like, this is what I do. This is like the sort of skill that I can bring into the firm. Would you even be willing to give me like 1 month or 2 months of like, I don't know, just like a placement?
Yeah.
Even if it's just to observe, like not paid, I'm happy to do anything. And yeah, trying to like stop myself from being disheartened, but you do not hear back from a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I feel like you have to message or email like
Just keep trying,
tens of them
Yeah.
just to get like,
Just
a
to
few
find
to call you
something.
back.
Yeah, 100%,
But
100%.
yeah, I think you need to step out of your comfort zone and just honestly flood
Yeah, and don't be
Like,
afraid as well to connect with even lawyers on LinkedIn and
mm,
reach out to see if there's any job opportunities, or if you know any lawyers yourselves, that have already graduated and have positions, try reaching out to them to see if, you can
mm,
find anything and go from there, I'd say.
Thank you. This one is very, I feel like speaks very personally to me because when I was in my bachelor's, I read a lot of like soft skills, like books. It wasn't really related to law, but it was more like a general stuff. But I'm very keen to know more about this topic, especially when it comes to things like interviews, which is a pretty universal experience everybody needs to go through when they're looking for a job, not just in the legal industry, but no matter which path you do take as after you graduate or even while you're studying, you have to take interviews at a certain point. Um,
Sure.
do you guys have any tips on interviewing and how to best impress the
yeah.
organization or the firm that you're trying to get into?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say be yourself. Um,
Yeah, it's hard when
It's
you're like
it's it's
nervous.
I know it can be very nerve-wracking, very daunting, but just be yourself. Try and be as confident as you can, be professional, yeah,
Be on
be
time.
punctual, be on time, don't be
That's
late. That's
that's
the
the
first
worst.
step. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
just
be
try and keep
honest.
it like personable, to
Yeah.
be fair. Because like, I
hmm
mean, like you just said, we all have to do it. We all hate it.
hmm hmm
If we can just like walk into somewhere and be like, have it just a general conversation, which is the sort of thing that I did. And I'm like lucky in that regard because my boss is like, that's how he connects with people. And so he started to be able to see like my personality
Yeah.
and
You
similar
as a
with you,
person.
like your
Yeah.
actual personality
Yeah.
rather than do I know how to answer questions A, B, and C well.
Yeah.
And another thing is, employers, like obviously there's going to be a checklist of what they're looking for. It's not always about your grades, and you need to also be open about what you think, like are your like the areas in which your skills are limited because then they want to just make sure that someone can come in, start to do the job well, but they need scope for improvement as well. Because if someone comes in and ticks all of the boxes, well, then you've got to wonder, like, have they reached their ceiling at that firm? So yeah, I hope that kind of makes sense as well with like just
Yeah.
saying, this is what I want
Yeah.
to learn. How do I do it? Like, what is
I
your
want to get there.
pathway?
Yeah. This is what I want to
Um,
achieve. I want to, and
because like
just,
they're
yeah.
interviewing you, but you
Yeah.
also need to interview them in a
Yeah,
way.
ask questions. Don't be scared to ask questions
Yeah,
to
I
the
definitely
interviewer.
was. I was a lot younger,
Yeah,
but yeah, sort of see how like you would fit in with them, but then how they would fit in with you.
definitely. I agree with that.
Mm.
I'll just pitch onto that. So I know there are many international students here,
hmm
and most of them are from Asia. So I'll just tell you a fun fact about, interviewing in Australia. When you go to Asia, the interviews are more academic. You're asked about, okay, this section of contract law says this, explain it. What will the
mm
case law? Have you read about this? That's not the case in Australia, as Monette and Laura said,
No,
that it's more about your personality, what you're bringing to the firm, more about your morals, ethics, how you present yourself. So
yeah,
that's a very, very big change, which I think everybody should keep in mind.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, look, don't get us wrong. There are times where they do give you perhaps like a case study or just say even this is the sort of matter you've got. We need you to research it. Where would you go? What are your primary sources?
Mm,
And, would you go to legislation? Would you go to case law? Would you go
true,
to explanatory memorandums or second, first reading, whatever it may be?
true.
And
Yeah,
then do you go to commentary about it? So sort of keep those things in
yeah.
mind.
It depends on the firm, and I think the
Yeah.
size of the firm. Like, I think the larger firms, they have a lot more steps when it comes to the recruitment process,
Mm.
in comparison with like a smaller boutique firm. Um, but yeah, they're all sort of
Hmm.
different in their own ways. I think some have like little tests and little,
Yeah.
personality tests, and
Listen up.
yeah, it just depends on the organization. But yeah, try your best. Be yourself, be honest,
Yeah.
be professional,
And
and
just
yeah,
don't
you'll be fine.
overpromise because obviously, I mean, and these sort of instances when you're first, second, third year, like you're obviously just starting out.
hmm
Yeah, be honest about what you can do. They're not going to expect that you're going to walk in and like, know absolutely everything. That's
Yeah,
obviously you're starting out your career. But yeah, just don't overpromise
yeah.
because those are the worst. time
Yeah.
of people.
Yeah.
I know you
Yeah.
mentioned there's some places they do these quizzes or psychometric testings. Have you guys ever had any experiences with them?
Not, I haven't, to be
Mhm.
honest, no. Just because, yeah, I was able to lend this position here at FCW from like my pro bono experience. So I was fortunate enough that I didn't have to really apply for many legal roles. I sort of had a connection here that I knew somebody, and so she sort of referred me, and then I was able to secure that interview. But I think from what I've heard, that does exist for some of the larger firms out
Mm.
there. So yeah,
Yeah, I don't really have much
yeah,
to add to that.
yeah.
Fair enough. Um, I guess in that same sort of way, another very like common question that we get is when it comes to things like writing a cover letter.
Hmm.
Um, there's a I guess there's a split between what a lot of the students feel like they should do is one group of students might think it's a cover letter, keep it simple, keep it very focused to, what you know about the firm, about yourself, and how you can connect how you can connect with the firm or what you bring to the firm
Hmm.
versus maybe you want to stand out, so you want to write your cover letter in a special way, or you need to structure in a different way from everybody else. What
Hmm.
would you do you have any tips when it comes to the structure of writing things like a cover letter?
I feel with cover letters, perhaps keep it short, precise,
Yeah.
tell them a bit about who you are, where you study, any prior experience that you've had and what those skills how it could benefit, I guess, the firm that you're applying for. To be honest, I feel like firms look more at the resume as opposed
Yeah.
to the cover letters, to be honest. That's just how I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just
Well,
depends on
I
the
think
firm,
with the
obviously,
cover
but
letter, what you can also do is have a
mm,
look at the firm, their objectives, their values. See what part of your personality or the experiences that you've had fit in with those.
yeah,
Obviously, you want to keep it very succinct, or look at what those firms like KPIs are, or the team in which you're applying.
yeah.
Have a look at the
Look at
criteria that
website. The
they're,
website alone can tell
yeah,
you a lot about the firm and what they do. And
yeah. Just
yeah,
don't write an essay
yeah, don't write an
because they're
essay.
going to look at it and
But
just
just be
like,
like, yeah, okay.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So just keep it short, short, sharp, and precise. And
Just like anything now
with,
in law,
yeah,
because really you've got a timer on,
yeah,
you're charging
yeah,
clients, you need to just get straight to the point.
yeah.
So do that. This is I suppose, your ability to show that you can write succinctly.
Hmm.
Amazing. I guess another aspect that you guys touched on earlier is networking, whether that's going to events or trying to connect with people through platforms like LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Um, do you have any tips or anything that you would suggest people? Because a lot of people learn how to network by making those first awkward, forays into sending that first message or approaching a group when they're at an event. Is there anything that you would suggest for people that might not have as much experience in that kind of world?
I would
yeah.
say like RSVP yes to everything you're invited to.
Hmm.
I went to an insolvency, event. I don't know the first thing about insolvency,
Yeah.
but I went to it and I was speaking with people. And actually, one of the people who attended, I'll be having just like a catch up with,
Yeah.
and that you just don't know where that will lead you. So RSVP, yes. And just have a look at like what your law societies are doing, what
Yeah.
events they're running.
Yeah.
At La Trobe, they used to run things after hours. They used
Hmm.
to have food. So even if you just pop in, even if you speak to one person,
Yeah.
that's better than
Yeah.
like that's a gain.
Yeah, don't be afraid to go on your own. Or if you're, if you feel more comfortable bringing someone along, bring another student along with you and
Mm.
network. Essentially, it's good. It's a good opportunity to meet different people, build connections, even perhaps land a role, potentially in the future. Once you've met a lawyer, you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've reckoned networking events are amazing opportunities, even for lawyers. We're encouraged to network.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, it's good. We get a lot of referrals through networking and get a lot of work and vice versa. So it's a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, networking for our firm is definitely like it brings in a lot of
A lot of work.
clients.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
clients.
it's quite important.
Yeah.
But even if you know one lawyer, like I feel like everyone knows a lawyer. So if you just say to them, hey, the next time you go to a CPD event, can I come with you?
Yeah.
Some of them you'll have to pay for.
Yeah.
Some of them might just be like a talk that someone's hosting.
Yeah.
Just ask to go
Yeah.
and literally say, like, sit next to someone and just have a conversation, even if it's one person.
I guess one thing, like a very specific fear that a lot of people have when they go to these in-person networking events is, you might not know many people there. So you're
Yeah.
standing, you're thinking, oh, who do I approach? And everybody's already formed groups. How do you make that first approach, that first introduction to people that you don't really know? Is there anything that you would suggest for people that might struggle with being a little bit shy and
Yeah.
putting themselves
Yeah.
into conversations?
I
Yeah.
feel like there's always an area where there's food and drink.
Yeah. I was just about to say that.
And
Yeah.
if you get something to eat or drink and you literally just turn around, you can speak to the person standing next to you.
Exactly. Small talk. Just,
And yeah,
talk about the food. So, oh,
yeah, exactly.
got a
Like,
good spread, good selection here. And then
exactly.
just start the conversation there or
And then you start to get
um
incorporated into their
yeah,
circle or
yeah. And then ask, get to know them, ask questions and they're sort of, yeah, I guess naturally
yeah.
occurs then. Like even sometimes if you go alone, there might be another person that's alone. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid to go up and all that to them and say,
I'm the other
hey,
shy person.
yeah, exactly, and meet them that way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But that's something that's often worked for me.
Yeah, that's
If I'm
what
at something by myself or like the person I know is like somewhere else,
yeah,
I'll like literally get something to eat or drink and I'll like literally just turn around physically and there's people there. So everyone congregates around those areas.
yeah,
So just
true.
start speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good thing because that's what I did when I first started. I always go to the food, and you can always talk. Everybody loves food, so you can
Oh,
that's always something that you can bring up to start a
yeah.
conversation for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll move on to the Q&A now. We got a couple people that asked a couple questions in the chat. If you guys have any questions while we're in this section, please feel free to chuck it in the chat. First question by Jamie is, how long, so when you say have a short and precise cover letter, what length or how long would that short and precise be while still having enough detail? Um,
Yeah, I would say limit it to like
Like,
2 to 3 paragraphs.
yeah, not
I'd
more than
say
half a
half a page.
page.
Yeah, I'd say that too. Yeah, 'cause, yeah, it's
Because
stuff.
like when I start to see those sort of things, I like, and you'll pick up on this as a lawyer, you'll start to read things and you pick up on keywords. Some people, like, if you're a lawyer and you have to read through 20 pages, that's a lot of time that you charge. And so you start to do, like, you get quicker with your reading and you'll start to pick out really quick, like, keywords.
Mhm.
So if you can incorporate those sort of keywords into your cover letter, those sort of like number of sentences would be quite effective. And if those like things sort of pick up like on
Mhm.
some of their values,
Mhm.
again,
Exactly.
they recognize that straight away. So it jumps out at them
Yeah,
and they'll read the words surrounding it. Does
100%.
that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely it
Yeah.
does. A lot of lawyers they're like not only that too, but a lot of lawyers are like really super busy and they're kind of just
Yeah.
like, scrolling through things and going through various matters. So
Yeah.
having a short, precise letter is just helpful, I guess, for the lawyer. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just
Because if you
yeah,
have two sort of applications side by side,
yeah,
one cover letter is a full page and it's thick text,
yeah.
and the other one is like 3 paragraphs.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably read the short
I'm
one.
definitely going for the shorter one.
Yeah, yeah, definitely,
Absolutely.
definitely. So yeah.
Um, Ibrahim also asked, does having a double degree help for getting a law role specifically?
Um, it's a good question.
I don't know.
I don't know. Look, I'm a big advocate for double degrees. I just reckon it's a good split to have, I'd say. Essentially, you're getting 2 pieces of paper
Mm.
for an additional year. Do you know what I mean? It's 2 pieces of paper that you can rely on. So if you decide ultimately maybe law's not for me, you've got another degree to fall on as well. So, but in terms of law firms
Like in terms of
recruiting,
recruitment,
yeah, people,
no.
I don't think so. I think they'd sort of treat it the same as having like a law degree, single law degree.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, that might be an interesting one, like from our boss's perspective or
Yeah.
like the
We'll
recruiter's
ask him.
perspective.
We'll ask him.
Yeah, we'll have to know.
Yeah.
I got a question of my own while we're throughout this seminar. When it comes to back to soft skills, I suppose. When it comes to once you get that first role, um, what's a good way of starting off strong, in the sense that because you want to stay in a role as long as you can. You want to build connections and you want to build a reputation that you're a
Mhm.
hard worker, that you're reliable. What's something that someone can do to really excel in that first workplace?
I'd say don't be afraid to ask for help and support.
Mm,
If you're not sure about something, I think lawyers prefer you to go up to them and say, "Hey, look, I don't understand this, or such and such has asked me to do this. Would it be okay if you help me or direct me to the right, I guess the right source or whatever it is?" I think if you just try and do it on your own, don't ask for help and
yeah,
submit
that's
it,
hard.
it's kind of like, and then it's not right. It's kind of like, like you're just stuck in that cycle. So don't be afraid to ask for help. I think lawyers really appreciate that. Don't be even scared to ask if they need anything, if they need, help, if you're quiet, reach out to lawyers and
Yeah,
say, is there anything I can do to help you?
yeah. If you're quiet,
Yeah,
email them.
email, go
Email
up to
your
them in the
manager
office. Yeah.
and include your boss in it
Hmm. Hmm.
to be like, I've got capacity to do things. These are the sort of jobs I've got on my list. They're not urgent, or
Yeah.
I'm waiting for, well, for us, for example, I'm
Yeah.
waiting for the client to get back to me,
Yeah.
waiting for the other lawyers to get back to me. What can I do in the meantime? Because then it shows that you're keen
Yeah, you're keen, you're
and you're
eager,
not just
taking the
sitting there.
initiative
Yeah.
of getting work and you're not just doing nothing and,
Yeah.
just hanging around the office sort of thing.
And another thing to
Um,
build on, like you just said, Laura,
yeah.
is like go and ask questions.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I was taught.
Hmm.
You need to ask these questions early because the longer you leave it, the shorter the time frame the lawyer has got
Yeah.
to action it and send it out to the client or the other party.
Hmm.
And so you need to ask those questions and clarify any instructions quite early on
Yeah.
because you also don't want to go down a rabbit hole. We all get trapped in that. We all start doing something like, "Oh, I think that's what it meant." And you go do the work and that's not exactly what they wanted.
Yeah.
So that's that strategy. And another thing you can do to make sure that, it looks like you're keen, you really want to learn. And again, this was encouraged of me when I started. Have your job, whatever the task is. If it's admin for stuff, like I'm not sure if that would be applicable, but
Mm.
definitely say if you're doing paralegal work, or grad work, you would, draw up a draft or like some dot points of what you're going to write in your like
You intend to say.
correspondence,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you can build around that together with your lawyer. So
Yeah.
again, you start to form that like structure and base
Hmm.
early on,
Everyone
and then
starts
go,
somewhere. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? So it's just, yeah, asking for that help and that support in that regard is
mm,
key. It's key to growth. It's key to, I reckon, success as a
yeah,
successful lawyer.
yeah.
Yeah, to become one.
I also have a personal question.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
And this is very personal to me because that generally happens when you're a law student. Have you
Hmm.
guys ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if yes, how did you deal
Yeah.
with it?
Yeah.
Especially because I know, Laura, you are up to your
Yes.
promotion. You'll be an associate soon. So how do you go about that?
Yes. So, okay, with me, because I'm obviously in litigation. So when I'm running down to court having to appear for a matter, I feel like, oh my gosh, like, is this real? Like, am I doing this? Am I about to speak in front of a judge? I feel like a little bit of an imposter in that sense. Even like in the lead up preparing for it, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, am I doing this? But you just got to get it
Oh, that's
done.
so
You
funny.
just got to,
If
yeah,
you put me in that situation, I'll probably faint because in my team, I don't go to court.
yeah,
And if we did, it's
yeah,
like quite rare.
yeah, yeah,
But I definitely felt it only because I came in like from another career. For me, I'm obviously starting off quite late. And so when people ask me even, so like, what do you do? like I don't think that I'm a lawyer straight
Yeah.
up because I'm
Yeah.
like, it sounds so weird saying that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's taken a bit of getting
Still
used
new.
to.
It's still new.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And even with like because I've like Tanya said, I'll be an associate in a couple of weeks. It's kind of like, whoa, like an associate, like wow, already. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
I've been a lawyer for 2 years, so it's great to have that opportunity, and it's kind of like, damn, like I got that sort of role, you know what I mean? It's just it's just really yeah, it does feel like imposter syndrome sometimes.
Yeah.
Good
Thanks
question.
so much.
No worries.
We got one final question for tonight. Song asks, would you recommend cold emailing firms for internships or any other roles for that matter?
Yeah, but I'll just say
Just make it
a
like,
professional, like make sure it's
yeah.
professional.
And
Um,
it's not like really generic that you've sent it to like
like
500
everyone,
firms.
like make it a bit more
Very
personal.
personable.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
make it make sure that if you're emailing someone, address it to the person. Don't just say dear sir, madam, or
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Because then it looks like, oh, okay, copy and paste sort of
Yeah.
thing. Um,
Just keep it warm, make it sound like you've sent it directly to them.
yeah.
Also, make it sound like something, because, like, let's be honest, if someone is a high school student and they're thinking about doing law, they'll look up at you and think, wow, you got into law school. Like, what tips would you give me?
Hmm.
So, sort of think of it as being like, how would I like that sort of high school student to email me
Hmm.
and ask these questions?
Hmm.
But obviously, you'll obviously be contacting someone established, like it's a partner or a principal. So yeah, sort of keep that in mind. How would you like to receive that sort of email?
Thank you guys. That was such a lovely session. I feel like if I had this seminar in my first year, I would definitely take a lot from this seminar. Before we close off for tonight, if there's one thing that you guys would like the students who are here today to, go away with I guess one key takeaway from tonight, what would that be?
Good question.
That's a very good question.
I'd say,
Just don't
yeah,
put too much pressure on yourself.
yeah.
I did it. I have very high expectations of myself. I feel like as lawyers, we all do.
Hmm.
But it's sometimes it can be detrimental.
Yeah.
So always remember that you've got to balance your studies and work with your life and
Hmm.
try and find that balance.
Hmm.
Don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's not all about work. And
100%.
I've said that to a lot of people.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, please don't stress. Focus on completing your studies. That's the first thing I'd say. Obviously try your best to secure a role. If you cannot get it, don't stress.
Yeah,
Please
'cause
don't
there's
stress.
always different pathways.
Exactly. Eventually you will find something. Um, and yeah, just be yourself, be true to yourself, and
Mm.
yeah, that's the advice that I could give, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. A huge thank you to Laura and Minette for your time, candor, and generosity in sharing your experiences. And thank you, everybody, for joining us for today. Your engagement makes all these sessions really worthwhile. Before you guys go, though, if you guys can please scan that QR code to follow our social media pages. Because this won't be the only seminars we'll be running. We'll be running other seminars and other